The Division 2 Year 5 is almost upon us, and it promises big things. We're going to be co-streaming their event, so if you want to skip ahead by about 30 minutes, that is when they will be going live. We'll be co-streaming that. We'll also be co-streaming a lot of the Summer Game Fest events. Guerrilla Collective, all their indie showcases, the kickoff with Jeff Keighley on Thursday, PC Game Show, Xbox Game Show, the Starfield Direct, Future Game Show, Ubisoft. There's a lot of things going on. Obviously, whatever they show today, they may end up showing more as well at Ubisoft. So make sure and check out all my live coverage. I'm probably just going to chill for the first 30 minutes or so of this broadcast and just talk with the audience. Usually, I open the show with a monologue that I've written and put a lot of work into, but obviously I can't do that when we're co-streaming events. I don't know what they're going to say. I have no idea what to expect from them, but I can give you just a brief synopsis of my experience with the Division 2 just yesterday, sort of going back through it, getting familiar with the systems, with what you can do, and just big picture, I think this game shows a lot of promise to bring things back around. If you're not aware, they meant to end support of this game in 2020, but the support just continued to be there from the community, so they continued to invest in it. It was basically going to get EOL'd, end of life, and then they continued to add updates and to do things to the game. And here we sit now in 2023 on the cusp of Year 5. Year 5 promises to end with Seasons 2.0, which I would imagine that means they have promises beyond Year 5. And what I saw yesterday with the targeted farming, the ability to set your sights not just on the weapon that you want, but the perks or the things on the weapon that you would like to get. And that intentionality, I think, is huge. It's something I push for in many, many games. There was one such activity called the Summit, where if I run the Summit, I can tell it exactly what I'm looking for. If you look at the map and maybe you don't particularly want to go to an area, or there's a mission that's dropping gloves, and that's really what you're looking for, and you don't feel like running that mission, you can obviously use content like that. I think more and more live service games that are loot-based should be basing their systems and taking a lot of cues from the Division, and I do think it's clear they've learned quite a bit and are going to continue investing in this game. What I would love to see is for, in a couple of years, them to drop something that is maybe larger, maybe a more MMO-style live service loot-based game that includes multiple cities, as this one already does include DC and New York. You could include essentially the United States. So I actually had a pretty good time with the game just yesterday, checking out the systems, getting familiar with them, with how you can increase things, decrease things. You can work on expertise on a weapon. You can work on getting particular things to do to the weapon. And again, this is all bolstered by the intentional loot chase. And that is something I think is missing in games that maybe stress too much on min-maxing. Min-maxing often can be a time sink where you just sort of go and get materials, or you just sort of go and earn points, and then you dump that into different things to min-max, right? And if you're min-maxing and you like min-maxing, that can be very satisfying. But for somebody like me, I'm more drawn to content loop, gameplay loops, chasing a particular piece of loot. The excitement of seeing loot drop is something that I think is more psychologically stimulating to the average gamer. So the fact that the Division 2 blends those two things together, where your loot pursuit as well as your min-maxing are tied to that intentional chase and going out into the world and playing the content, I think that's something that many games should take notice of. I've recommended systems like that in other games where, hey, get more capital out of your base game by putting loot in particular activities. You can rotate the loot, that way you know what you're chasing. So overall, I'm excited to see what they have for Year 5. I don't know if they're going to get into Seasons 2.0. I'm interested to see if that's sort of their plan for Year 6 then, to take a completely different avenue towards Seasons. You know, Seasons 2.0 definitely brings something, you know, some expectations with it. The idea that, like, oh, you're going to revamp the way that Seasons work. Seasonal model for games is very common. More and more games are latching on to it. I've made my own predictions about what's going to happen to Diablo when their first season hits, because so many people don't expect the character reset. They expect maybe more of an ongoing experience. And games like The Division and even Destiny, I think, have set those expectations. So I'm anxious to see what their plan is beyond Year 5 as well. So Not a bad little opening 5-minute thing there, just off the cuff. I didn't write anything. Just my thoughts on how The Division 2 feels as a game. You know, this late in its stage, I think it's probably hard for newer people or less familiar people to come play the game. I've talked about this with New World as well, a game that I think is enjoyable. It's pleasant. The devs seem very committed to it, but how do you come back to a game after all this time? You need an onboarding process. You need something to sort of get you familiar with the systems, all of the updates. And sometimes it's, hey, somebody ordered some dark roast. Did that work, or was that a test? Did somebody actually order coffee? I don't know if the sound probably didn't come through because I had the sound off. Let me check if that's a genuine order, unless Creature's experimenting in the background. No, that was a test. That is not. That's not on my back end just yet. But yes, that should pop up if you order coffee. You have to go through the cart, though. You have to go through the cart. If you're going to do that and you want your name to pop up, you're going to need to use the cart on the site. You can't just immediately go check out. It wasn't me? Oh, really? So maybe it just hasn't hit the back end yet. I don't have an order on the back end yet. I don't see it. So I don't know. Maybe it takes a second for them to show up. Maybe that's a backlog order from yesterday. I don't know. Did anybody in chat order some coffee? Let me pop out the chat. I still have my YouTube chat like up on my top monitor. I'm like straining to look up there. Here. People still play The Division? Yes. After the monologue? Yeah. Back at work, partially moved in. Nice. Good to have you back. Division was a major letdown in my opinion. Been there since day one. I mean, I was one of the people that was extremely let down by The Division as well. I remember The Division 2 and Anthem, they were getting multi-coverage from me. They were getting, both games were getting coverage from me. And I feel like it was just one disappointing hit after the next. Both Anthem and The Division 2, both of them just didn't do what people were hoping to see. So, well, I don't know why that popped up. It said viewer ordered some coffee. I still don't have an order on the back end, so I don't know if that was them just like a ghost in the machine, somebody ordering from yesterday. Feel free, guys, to order some coffee, order some Reforge roast, get the member count going for the day. We had a great members talk yesterday, just kind of, re-emphasizing the importance of continuing to do our thing and gift members. And the first 25, every 25, I give 5 back to the community. So get that number going. We are right there at like 3,000 members. We slipped quite a bit. I think about 30 days ago, there was a really big push. You guys were trying to unlock something, and it was from the queue. Okay, well, if anybody orders coffee this morning, make sure and look at your cart before checking out if you want the alert to pop up. Sadly, it won't do it if you jump to checkout, which is really unfortunate. That was something that we signed up for, to be like, hey, we want to celebrate when people order coffee. And sadly, you have to do it in that order. Even though it said viewer, that's what's so weird to me. It didn't put their name. Like, I thought if they didn't put their name, it wouldn't show up, but seems that might not be the case. Let me refresh their purple channel. The Division will be streaming over there on Twitch, and we'll be watching over there. I dropped Division 2 after completing the campaign. I didn't like what they did with the Dark Zone. I don't know the population number, says D-Tom. The initial endgame and the initial raid was a letdown for my friends and I. Then trying to find people to raid with was impossible. I felt like they missed such an easy opportunity with New Game Plus. They really did. All they had to do was let you go through that map again and crank everything up. I had a whole idea of what they could do with making technology show up a whole lot more in builds, because so many late game builds, it's just all about guns and health. Guns and health. Like, that's all that you need, and I find that incredibly disappointing and boring to just. I know it's a cover-based shooter, so maybe my expectations aren't in line with the genre, but it just seemed like there was going to be a whole lot more of a tech element. So when they announced The Division, I thought it was a game that involved invisible enemies, but then I remembered that I'm colorblind AF. Back then, it was absolutely true, but now you can group and do anything really quickly, says Creature. It's a niche game, but that's just it. I don't think it's a niche game. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be a niche game. It's a third-person Tom Clancy looter shooter. What on earth? What on earth? Why would you think that that's niche? I mean, maybe you think it's niche because of how you experience it or how the min-maxing went. Like I said in my show open, it was a real short show open today, but I think that the reason that Division 2 gameplay is in a better state is because you don't just min-max, you intentionally loot chase to min-max. They delayed the raid because of a PTS, and then that PTS lasted like a month, and we had no idea what the patches were going to be, so we didn't know what to farm. Right. I remember you talking about that, Eugene. That really frustrated you. Yeah, I have to watch them on Purple. They don't stream on YouTube. They'll upload the video later to YouTube, but if we want to watch it live and react, we got to watch over there on Purple. Hopefully the Division team is aware of how big their logos can be on screen. Oh, I had to get a little jab in. Come on, just a little one. I don't want to talk about that, but I'm just having some fun. What Creature is saying is great, but they need to bring people back. The game went through 3 to 4 years of losing players when the only other serious live service was Destiny. That's always going to be a challenge, D-Tom, because first impressions are everything. You know, there are going to be so many people that look at this game and say, I'm not coming back, or, you know, I don't have any interest in going back. And, you know, it's hard, I think, to bring people back. The other thing I think that's challenging is if you do bring people back, you have to have proper onboarding. Does that make sense? Like, I went back to New World one day just to make sure, like, my character was still there, and I loaded up the game. I didn't know what I was looking at. I didn't know what I was looking at. I don't know. I don't know what any of this is. I don't know what you've changed. You know, I don't know what you've updated. What systems have been increased, adjusted, removed, made better. I didn't know. You have to onboard returning players. You got to onboard new players. If you can't onboard new players, they're not going to know what to do. Everything Creature showed me how to do yesterday in the Division 2, I would have been lost. I wouldn't have known any of those things. Well, push this to see all the loot that you can farm. Push this to pick the loot that you want to farm. I was like, I didn't know about any of that. If I wouldn't have had Creature on the phone with me, I'd have been like, there's 1,000 things on my screen. I don't know what any of it is. So I think there's a pretty significant challenge there of, you can do really good things, really good updates, and really good changes, but you have got to develop a returning player and new player onboarding. Like, I don't. And then the big challenge with that is you can overwhelm the player. Even when Creature would take me to an NPC and I would start trying to interact with it, there were all these pop-ups trying to tell me stuff, and I was like, oh, this is overwhelming. Raptor with the first gifted member of the day. Thank you so much. We don't like seeing that sad 0 over there, and it goes to Brain Eclipse. Brain Eclipse is here all the time. Good to see you get a gifted member. I watched Division 2 for what my hopes in the Star Wars game in the Division 3 will be, because if a new game lands with the system that Div 2 has, it'll be a huge success. I think even Lono will agree with that. I actually do agree with that, because if you have a game from the ground up that has the Division 2 systems in it, the intentional farming, the min-maxing, the loot system, I'm telling you, it would be an amazing game. But when you come back to a game that's done all these things, you're like, I don't know where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? What should I prioritize? What's the best approach? You don't know any of those things. You're just sort of stepping into an ocean that's already got its currents moving, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get swept away. Good morning. Yeah, they definitely need an onboarding process to get someone on a good track when coming back. Yo, Joker Quinn gifts a member. You guys can do single member gifted trains. You've done them before. Let's see it. You guys are going to have to really bounce back. YouTube Lurker said yesterday he's committed. He says we're going to get things back to where they belong. Thank you so much. If Monster Hunter games are considered niche, this Division game is niche as well. Monster Hunter has more players. I would never say that Monster Hunter is niche. I don't know who said that. That game is very popular. I wouldn't call Mon Hun niche. Holy moly, globally very popular game. Gonna take a new game for me, says Eugene. Current game is soured. I mean, I could see people coming at it from two different angles. Number one, I could see people coming from the angle that you're saying, Eugene, right? Soured. Yo, yeah, you're a member, Brickman. You might have gotten it gifted in the last couple of days. Yo, Mike S. jumps on the member train, takes us to 3. Thank you so much for doing that. 3 members already today, getting started nice. And it goes to our man Lazaro. 512 Design says, use the cannon gun as player as well to help your angle division goof if about angle like Call of Duty. What are you doing? Do you feel okay? Brother, do you have a fever? That doesn't make... What you're saying doesn't make any sense. I thought you had like 1 or 2 typos, but it's more than that. Patrick Q gifts a member. Thank you so much. I'm truly trying to understand what you're saying, 512 Designs. What are you trying to communicate? I can see it, but I keep telling you guys, don't sell Red Storm short, says Creature. They're impressive. Monster Hunter World is a niche game? What? Why would you think that? Yo, Meech! How are you, Meech? Meech comes in and gifts a member. Patrick Q's gifted member went to D the Great, and Meech's gifted member goes to Corny Puddle. One at a time. We got 5. We're 20 away from 25. Hopefully none of the big boys swoop in and steal this from you guys. They like to drop those 20 bombs. One at a time is just fine, guys. Excellent work. Thanks for the generosity and the kindness to the stream. 512 been like that since day 1, says Murph. Sorry, not sorry. Oh, really? Has he really? If Division is good like Call Foodie, it about angles? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. 512 Design, if you're having trouble, if English isn't your first language, no disrespect. We're having a hard time understanding what you're attempting to say, all right? I try to read what everybody says, but sometimes I get into the sentence and I don't know what somebody's attempting to say. So you're having trouble communicating. I feel like you're trying to say it's all about the angles, and maybe you feel like Call of Duty is not like that. It's all about just like running around. In any case, Doe Devas coming in with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much for doing that, Doe Devas. Guys, always remember, you can do super chats or gifteds. Both support me. You the best. Thank you, Doe Devas. D-Tom says, I do think that the Division is Ubisoft's best shot at live service unless AC comes up with something revolutionary. I actually think that you could do an amazing live service Assassin's Creed game. I argued you could do an amazing live service Ghost of Tsushima game. I think that you could. Steam Crow says, you got to be careful with just doing a brand new game as a sequel. How many times do you want to reset the player base and all their prior efforts? Call of Duty is about angles. Both are. Saying both are. Okay. Well, that's great. There's angles in every game, and you know these games have angles. That's right. I'm definitely going to be a stream usual now. Well, thank you, Brickman. I appreciate that. I forgot we put my son and my daughter emotes back up. Yeah, that stinks. That's his stream nickname. We don't use their real names. Ghost of Tsushima live service would be epic. I continue to think they were testing out a live service game with Legends. They were testing out loot tiers. They were testing out co-op. They were testing out PvP. Jojo with 12 months. Thank you so much for 12 months of memberships coming back in. This is kind of stuff I want to see in VR. Actual escape room with friends. Oh, that'd be so fun. Kenneth Williams with 5 months of memberships. Welcome back. The angle of the dangle. Now that is a big callback. The angle of the dangle. That was in my early days of shoutcasting, and my words got all bumbled, and I said that. I said the angle of the dangle. That's so good. Head count, real talk. Who were completed Monster Hunter World Vanilla, moved to Iceborne, and grinded to the end game? I don't know if I have a lot of Monhun fans here. I know it's a very popular game, but I don't know if we have a lot of Monhun fans here. You'll wait? I mean, that's incredibly... That's like a cherry pick, though. Imagine coming to my audience and, you know, ask how many people play League of Legends and CSGO. Like, you're not going to get a ton of people that play certain game types in certain audiences. Like, my audience is not a good test case for the popularity of Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter World? I mean, Monster Hunter World sales. Hey, somebody ordered some coffee. Hey, somebody ordered some coffee. Listen to me. 18.8 million units of Monster Hunter World since December 31st. Please, shh. Please just shh. Shh. Stop it. Stop it. Come on, man. 18 million copies. Quit this niche game nonsense. Niche games don't sell 18 million copies. There it is. Somebody ordered some coffee. It came from someone. I don't want to say your name. I have your email here. Your first name starts with L. Creature, do we fix it? Is it going to pop up every time somebody orders coffee now instead of only when they put their username in? Because that just said viewer again. Love Monster Hunter World and the free DLC rolls out. I played Monhun, but connection issues pushed me away. Could not play with friends. Yeah, I don't think niche games sell 18 million copies in, 6 months. Come on. That's a lot of... That's a really, really successful game. That's a very popular game. I always like when I have to defend games I don't play. I don't even play Monhun. I don't even like Monhun. This is a one-way trip down Let's Argue Over the Definition of a Word Avenue. Y'all really act like y'all know 18 million copies? No one here plays the game? Now you're not making any sense. Are the facts that it sold 18 million copies giving you a stroke? Like, it's a really popular game. I don't understand. I've never had anybody try and claim Monster Hunter World is niche. It's Capcom's highest selling game of all time. Yeah, I've never heard that before. Donkey Lono donkey. I know. I'm not trying to argue about the color of the sky with a donkey, but come on, man. Like, I don't even play Monhunt. You know what's funny about Monster Hunter is it has everything that I want in a game, but I don't like the content loop. I don't like the content loop. You know what I'm saying? I think Resident Evil as a franchise has sold more. I think maybe he means like an individual game. Yeah, Monhunt is their second highest grossing franchise. Resident Evil has 142 million as a franchise. Monster Hunter has 92 million as a franchise, above Street Fighter at 50 million. It's not even close. Monster Hunter's not niche at all. Like, I'm not gonna debate this very long with you. We don't like to belabor points when it's so clearly seen as not a true statement. It's Capcom. It's second only to Resident Evil. Resident Evil's got 142 million total, 92 million as a franchise. You cannot claim that Monhunt is niche. It's demonstrably false. The facts do not agree with that assessment. They don't. Sorry. You cannot like a game. This is what I think happens sometimes, right? It's a popular game in a niche genre. What? I'm parsing that out. I mean, okay, but it's their genre. It's their genre. What do you mean it's a niche genre? They made it. If you have a game where you hunt monsters, do you know what game that's based off of? Capcom's second highest grossing franchise. They literally made the genre. I literally froze. My brain locked up on that. I was like, it's a really popular game in a niche genre. And I was like, Wait, huh? Wait a minute. I'm buffering in real life, like Doc said. I love that. I was parsing that one out. I was like, huh? What is that? Huh? Okay, put it in the top right, but it'll say viewer. Okay, that's totally fine, creature. That's totally fine if it just says viewer. All right. If you guys, why do you want it in the top right? No. I like things down here. I'm not moving it. I like it down here where the member goal is. I like that. That's got that feng shui. I don't want anything up there in the corner over the plate. Entitled to your own opinions, not your own facts. Yeah. Listen, this is what I think happens with games like Monster Hunter, okay? I played Monster Hunter, and it had everything that I like in a game. It had depth. It had really, really good build diversity. It had intentionality. Like, I could chase things, invest in things that I wanted, okay? Now, this is related to The Division. I know that we're supposed to be talking about The Division. The Division live stream goes live in like 3 minutes, so just bear with us while we indulge this conversation, okay? So, they had everything that I wanted in a game. All the things that I like in a game, Monster Hunter had. But I literally couldn't enjoy the content loop. I just didn't like it. I found it to be boring. And I always told people, Monster Hunter is one of the best games that I can't play. I would recommend it to people. I'm like, try it out, see if you like it, because there's a lot of depth there. There's a lot of good quality there. They've treated their games very well. Their DLCs have been highly praised. Like Monhun, as a franchise, I was very impressed with. It just didn't hook me, right? It did not hook me at all. And when a content loop doesn't hook you, one of the best things to do is, walk away. It's not made for you. So, to claim that Monhun's a niche game, I just think is woefully inaccurate. There's no stats, there's no facts to demonstrate that's a true statement. So, I don't play it, none of my friends play it, it must be niche. I am the main character. Right, that's what I think happens. That's what I was going to say is, I think sometimes when we play a game and we think it's not very good or we don't think it really brings the heat, we're like, yeah, this is a niche game. Like, none of my friends play it either. It's a niche game. The Division game is a niche game now. If the numbers count in Monhun, then Division 2 is a niche game now. I'm not sure what you mean, Veter. Deadly Dad Gaming with $25. I finished the Diablo campaign last night, and after having played all the way through the OG D1 to D4, I can definitely say without a doubt this is a masterpiece. It's truly their magnum opus of the Diablo series. My wife and I played last night, and thankfully we didn't have any server issues, and I was really enjoying myself. The Necro is, he's fun. He is very, very fun. I was having a lot of fun with him. Here's the thing. I think this stuff gets lost in translation. Guys, do me a favor. Let's get 200 likes before the Division stream starts, because I'm not going to be able to ask for likes during the stream because we're going to be listening to it. Let's get 25 more likes. Let's hit this member goal before the Division stream starts. It's going to start in about a minute. Let's get this going. Let's ramp this stream up. Let's have a good day. We're also going to be watching the Guerrilla Collective stream, and I think things get lost in translation, because when somebody said that the Division 2 is a niche game, I interpreted what you said as like it's a niche game type or something. I was like, how is it a niche game? Right? It's a third-person cover-based shooter with loot. That doesn't seem very niche. When people say niche, I think maybe what you mean is, not a lot of people play it. That's not typically what niche means. Niche usually means very unique and narrowly appealing. It's kind of niche. Yeah, it's kind of weird or whatever. But being like, not a lot of people play it. Right? Okay, they're live. Give me a second. With the 15-minute countdown. Let me make sure we're good to go. We're on source quality. Okay. All right. Let me put myself in the opposite corner. Put myself over there. Let's be on brand. You guys want to be on brand? There we go. There we go. Got a little orange ring for you. How about that? Is that good? That good? Let me go into my webcam. Let me drag myself over a little bit. There we go. Look at that. Would you look at it? Look how great we look. Do Americans pronounce niche as niche? What do you say, niche? Some people say niche. I say niche. I think both pronunciations are acceptable. I think. Wait. Okay, cool. We got music. Niche equals someone says I'm not interested in that game. I wonder, are there any games that you know the name of and are actually niche? Do you understand what I'm saying? Everybody knows the name Dark Souls, and people for the longest time thought Dark Souls was niche. And it's like, well, the fact that you know the name might be proof that it's not. You know what I'm saying? Look up the word niche because you're wrong. Some people say niche. Yeah, some people say niche. Look up the word niche because you're wrong. Okay, let's look up the word definition. Let's do it. Let's do it because it's used in lots of different categories. Cardoc Ren gifts 5 members. He says, "Come on, guys, we can hit the member goal before the stream starts. Let's do it." He takes us all the way to 10. Thank you so much. You guys got to rebuild that member count. You got 3,000 members right now. Rogue Necro is 17 months and it's a member plus. Ordering light roast over dark roast is niche. Change my mind. Oh, I need the coffee alert in this screen. Let's have it in this screen. Yeah. Let's paste it in. Yeah. Oh, an ad. Oh no. Hang on. I think gamers fall into the anecdotal evidence fallacy too much. Yeah, well, none of my friends play, so it's not. Yeah, it's not. Right here, a specialized segment of the market for a particular kind of product or service. Isn't it weird that I just said it's something that's very narrow in its offering and its appeal? Almost as if I know the definition of the word and basically gave you a paraphrase. What did I say just moments ago? A specialized segment of the market for a particular kind of product or service. Huh. It's almost like when I said it's a game or a product that is like a narrow offering, like it has a narrow appeal to a narrow subset. Man, it's almost like I know the definition of the word. Isn't that crazy, guys? Man, it's like when you go Google searching something and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, there it is. That's it. We did it. Let's all go home. Yo, what's good? Aloha Mora, how are you? Usually listen on Spotify, managed to join today. Well, thank you for being here. Like I said, Monhun's a popular game in a niche genre. Right, but when you say it's a niche genre, Astaroth, the reason that feels like a misnomer is they've sold so many copies. Do you see? Like, there aren't a ton of fighting games either. Think about it. In the realm of games like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, there are not a ton of fighting games. Are fighting games niche? Is that a niche genre? Do we believe that? If there aren't a lot of games in the category? To be fair, that definition is vague enough that it's open to interpretation. Like, are we talking 30% of the market? Or are we talking about 1% of the market? Right, it does get super subjective, Valiant. That is helpful. Like, that's why I brought up fighting games. In the grand scheme of games that are out there, there are not a ton of fighting games in the grand scheme of things. There's a handful that are well known, and the rest are like what? Like little indie titles that don't really go anywhere. There aren't a ton of fighting games. You would say fighting games are niche. Conversations like this are confusing because why are we saying that? Are we saying that because we think that fighting games aren't broadly appealing, or are we saying that fighting games are niche because we believe there aren't very many of them quantitatively? Do you see? That's why this gets confusing as a discussion. It gets confusing because I don't know why you're saying it. What are you trying to convey? Are you trying to convey the smallness of quantity of fighting games, or are you trying to say, oh yeah, fighting games are pretty niche, not a lot of people play them? Well, no, hang on a minute. We're saying two very different things. There aren't a lot of Madden games or football games, so are Madden games niche? Do you see what I'm saying? typically when someone says niche, we're talking about something that is small in its appeal, small in its turnout. It's very narrow. Not a lot of people touch it or play it. It's got a very specific target. It's got a very specific market. I saw recently an article about a local company in my city, and they restore, repurpose, and work on Airstream, what are those things called? Airstream RVs. I was like, well, that's awfully niche. Right? Because you don't just need to have an RV to go to them for business. You need one of those Airstreams. Like, okay, car mechanic, super broad. Car mechanic that only works on Corvettes. Well, that's kind of niche. RV mechanic that only works on Airstreams. Like, that's why I think these conversations get a little confusing, because I don't know why you're saying it. Are you saying it as like, you know, that little kind of a passive slight of like, oh, that's niche. That's niche. Monhun's niche? Monhun's huge. The second largest franchise under Capcom's umbrella. 18 million copies of Monhun World have sold since December. That's crazy. YouTube just hard crashed. We only lost about 10 people, so it must have been a small smattering of you that got hit. I don't know. I noticed it, though. I noticed something happened. I wonder if that's a perception gap. Niche equals small, so when millions of people play a game, it can't be niche, except it can be if you look at representation. Sure. We have 11 gifted members now. I sent one over. Where? Oh, I'm so sorry. Stone Spire Hall with a gifted member. I didn't see it. I was busy switching scenes around. It went to the Undead Slug. Thank you so much. I always love when somebody makes the number odd. Keep it going, guys. Every 25, I give 5. Thank you so much for being here. And when you order coffee now, it should pop up on the screen. If you go to the cart, you can put your username in. You don't have to, but... we could all agree that Pressure Washer Simulator is niche. The thing I love about Pressure Washer Simulator is that whenever we saw that as an idea, I forget what we were doing. We were covering an event, and that video came up, and we were like, "Oh my gosh, that is such a great idea. People are going to love that, right? We're going to love that." And sure enough, I mean, it's just been an absolute hit. It's been an absolute hit. That game's everywhere now. They're kind of like Fall Guys to a certain extent. They're getting all these great brand deals. You know, it's awesome. Coffee shipped to Thailand? No. Niche? You can say it both ways, can't you? Where's the... Yeah, look at the screenshot that Eugene posted. You can say niche or niche. Oh, I'm kind of combining the two. I think you're supposed to say niche. You're supposed to pronounce it with a hard CH, it looks like. If you either say niche or niche, it's a niche. Yeah, I think I'm combining the two and kind of saying it wrong. One from Deadly Dad Gaming, and it goes to Midlife Escape. There it is. Thank you guys so much, getting us halfway to the member goal. Every 25, I give 5. That thing has hit 100 members some days, and I have to gift a bunch. The game is the epitome of dystopian future. How many people play that game whilst having a pressure washer and dirty drive? Whoops. Hey, they got 3,500 viewers over there. All right, Division. Okay. If you guys are enjoying the stream, we're going to be watching this stream here in about 5 minutes. The Division Year 5. We'll also be watching Guerrilla Collective today. That'll be a bunch of indie titles. I would encourage you to watch the indie title showcases. Some of those games can be pretty dope. They really, really can. I'm actually enjoying Garden Simulator. Nice for only $25. The Lawnmower Simulator was like really, really relaxing. Relaxing. Just say Nietzsche. That's right. Say Nietzsche. Forspoken was niche. Redfall was niche. With that indie badge, it becomes sales focused. How many people played it and enjoyed it? Some of them are niche. That's right. Butt whooping that must be happening when wives are walking on their husbands and children playing a pressure washer game and not washing their own drives. Right? I can't get you to clean our own driveway. You're out here pressure washing an entire stadium. I want a divorce, Ted. Get so serious so fast. Play Power Washer Simulator today. That would be such an amazing commercial. She walks in the room super irritated, you know? You learned something new today? Yeah. I did too. I posted that bit that I did about putting video game movies in showcases. Oh man, hook, line, and sinker. Everybody took the bait. They all took the bait. They're like, look, get a load of this pony. Get a load of this pony. He's defending the Sony showcase. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm defending movies and TV shows showing up at game events because they have done it a bunch, and I think it's awesome. I thought it was great when they did it with The Last of Us or Mario or Sonic. Like clockwork, baby. They all took the bait. I think they were looking into the Division movie or TV show at one point. Not sure if it's still on the docket or not. Yeah, I mean, right on time, Detective Seeds. I saw your comment. You replied. People just don't understand nuance, man. They don't understand nuance. It's like, Jiminy Christmas. Jiminy Christmas. I would love to see a Division TV show. Can you imagine a Division TV show at the quality of 24 or the Unit? It'd be amazing. It'd be amazing. Look at these burn-in ads. I don't know. No, not for you. Power Wash Simulator needs Battle Royale, the ultimate battle. So can you believe this guy voices my favorite Lono impression behind the drifter? Can you believe this guy? Yeah. Get a load of this pony. Can you believe this guy? He's so funny. No matter the genre, a game is no longer niche when it appeals to gamers that aren't traditionally fans of that genre. Example, BlazBlue versus Street Fighter. The Unit was a great show. It really was. I personally don't want to see movie or TV trailers in a first-party video game showcase. That's just me, though. Right. All I was trying to establish was that it makes sense to do it, right? If to criticize the Sony showcase, the Gran Turismo trailer is nothing. It's a blip on the radar. That's standard affair for a showcase like that. It's standard affair. Mario shows up, Sonic shows up, The Last of Us shows up. TV shows and movies from video game content, that's going to show up in so many showcases going forward. That's just standard affair going forward. If you had a problem with the PlayStation Showcase, that was like number 25 on the list. There were 24 major offenses before you even get to the frickin' Gran Turismo trailer. And if the stinking showcase would have been good, then nobody would have cared. They'd have been like, oh, cool, a movie about cars. Like, people don't understand nuance. They just think you couldn't possibly be defending anything in the showcase. No, yeah, you're right. It's either all bad or all good. There's nothing in the middle. I know there's no room in your tribalistic brain for nuance, but it's like, there's everything in between. There was good, there was bad. It was overall disappointing, but that doesn't mean automatically that, no, yeah, you can't show you can't show a movie trailer. Movie trailers at a video game event. It's like, oh my gosh. Everybody just settle the frick down. All right, hang on. Let's switch to music.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Special Report. My name is Daria Ilina. I'm the community developer for The Division 2, and today with me is our product director, Morten Reiberg. Hello, Morten.
Hello, Daria. Hello, everybody.
So, first season of Year 5.
Yep.
But before we get into all the things Year 5, let's talk about what we're planning to discuss today to give you all an overview. So, of course, we'll talk about the new season, the Manhunt, the April event that is part of the new season Broken Wings. We'll show you the new trailer, of course, new targets. There is going to be one interesting development about new targets. You're going to see it very soon. And of course, we're going to talk about the changes we made following the PTS Phase 1 and 2, especially Descent, talk about some quality of life updates, not all of them. You will be able to see the full list after the live stream because we're planning to release the patch notes almost right away. So stay tuned for that. And then there are also a few surprises that we prepare for you.
Yes, there's a lot of things to go over. So
Yeah.
super exciting to kick off year 5 right around the corner.
And before we're gonna do that, let's probably just mention the season 11 conclusion. How did you find it? How did you like it?
I think, well, I loved it. And I think from what we've seen with our players, they were surprised. It was tough. It was probably a bit too tough. But at least it was a very exotic moment in time for the story and how that evolves. So yeah, it's very exciting to go into this season and see how that develops.
Oh yeah, there is gonna be a continuation of the story for sure. Lauren Stone prepared a lot of interesting things for us to discover. But before we go into first season of the year 5. I think it's important to have some sort of a story recap, especially for those of you who had no chance to play through season 11 or for the players.
I expected this to be a little bit higher production for year 5. Let's just keep watching.
Witness it in person. And for that specific occasion, we decided to team up with one very well-known content creator, I would say a lore master. You guys all know him very well. It's NGN, our favorite Aussie. And together with him, mainly it was him, right? We created this super nice story recap. Let's watch.
Oh, I saw that he got to do this.
Agents, Natalia Sokolova has gone too far. Using the countermeasure program recovered from the attack on the Kansas core, she has disabled the White House's defenses and attempted to retrieve her lost asset, BTSU leader Barton Schaefer. Her mission was thwarted by the heroic sacrifice of former True Son, Captain Fred Lewis. But the division had no time to celebrate this win or mourn their friend, as the Black Tusk abducted several members of the community who are responsible for major services in DC. Agent, your mission is to recover our missing people. Some of these assets may be familiar faces, and a few new people who have helped you in the fight to save what remains. Agents.
Super nice. I love it. Thank you so much, NGN.
Yeah, it's good to just get everything set and recap for people the situation, the dire situation that we're in right now, with Sokolova taking more and more presence in DC for sure.
And it's always so pleasant to just listen to NGN talk. It's just this Shade SMR. Oh, I know that he doesn't like when we say Shade, SHD, especially for you, NGN. So yeah, basically we're ready to move to
year 5.
Year 5, season 1, called Broken Wings.
Let's do it.
And in the wake of the attack on the White House, we're going to be tasked with rescuing 11 people who we discover are missing.
Yeah, so for the first season, we're going after a part of those, and that's going to pan out throughout the next couple of months, and it's going to be extremely exciting to turn everything upside down, I would say, versus what we've been used to, hunting targets. Now we are set to get our people back.
Yeah, let's watch the trailer.
Agents have one mission. All the threats we face. All the sacrifices we make. They're in service of one overriding purpose: to protect our community. And if we cannot bring our people home, then we fail that mission.
So, as you just saw, Year 5 prime target, Marie-Cine is the former director of the DC Aquarium, and she's going to be our prime target, but we would need to rescue her and other 4 hostages and bring them back to safety.
Yeah, I mean, we have some very important features of the castle that are, of course, not being populated by these people, and we want to get those facilities back in working order. So we will have to go on this hunt and hopefully get them safe back to help us rebuild the castle for real this time.
Yeah, that's another very distinguished feature of the Broken Wings, that we not only need to save our people, but also bring back the facilities and rebuild the castle for reals now.
Yeah, so we see the targets here. So Mari in center. And of course, there's some story with her being a fiance of a very well-known NPC in our story. I'll let you all discover that. But also, as you can see, we have the targets or the missing people, John Aver, Lauren Mitchell, you know, the typical setup for that. But of course, with them being friendlies, everything is also going to look a bit different in the UI. It's just, trying to really play into the new fantasy of the season, being a friendly manhunt, if you could say, use that kind of word.
F your ads, Twitch.
And then, of course, the apparel event that I think we are getting into in a bit.
Yeah. We'll definitely show you some snapshots of it later. But yeah, let's talk about Castle a little bit. I think it's one of the things that a lot of our players are mostly interested in. So what you can share without any major spoilers about the Castle?
Yeah, so the castle is, we saw the reaction from the players when the castle suddenly were populated at the beginning of Season 11. And this time around, we actually will see a progress throughout the season. So for each target or hostage that you get back, one of the facilities of the castle will be opened up. So we have a real progression sensation for the player to feel throughout Season 1 here, Broken Wings. So yeah, it's hopefully visually pleasing, but also some of the fantasy that we saw that players really wanted from Season 11 that is coming this time around.
Yeah, I know that it's been sitting there forever, basically untouched, and a lot of people have been asking questions like, what's going to happen with this specific settlement? So here is your answer. Finally, with the Year 5 Season 1 Broken Wings, we're going to be able to come back and reclaim the castle. Super excited for that.
Yeah, it's very exciting for sure. So we'll let you all discover that from tomorrow when Season 1 goes live. So for you Aussies, it might be the day after. Not really following the time zones completely, but it's going to be close to your midnight, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be our usual standard maintenance time. And yeah, tomorrow when you wake up, or if you want to just, never go to sleep and wait and be the first one to play, we'll announce the maintenance details later today after the live stream together with the patch notes. So you will be able to get all the information, basically recapped the majority of the topics we'll be discussing today. But before we move into that, let's talk about the Manhunt rewards. Like, for example, with the latest season, we already introduced the new way of...
Yeah, it's a vanity rewards, and we want to be very clear about this because we did see a lot of confusion about what was it actually that was rewarded at the end of the Manhunt. So we decided to basically invest our time in creating a really nice new gear, weapons, and whatnot to be rewarded in other areas of the game, and not keep them behind a 12-week calendar of the manhunt. The manhunt, or the story progression, I should say, is a reward in itself, and is super costly to produce. But we also really like to produce it because we think it's very compelling, and we can see the feedback from all of you guys out there that you really like it. So it's more of a token of completion. And then I will bet you that we are introducing throughout the year 5 some nice things where you can go and get some unique kind of rewards instead of putting them on the manhunt, basically.
So yeah, I would say that pretty much nothing has changed. You're gonna get
Correct.
the same gear and weapons through the season pass reward track, and then one extra item or 2 or 3 or
Yeah, it's going to be dropped here and there throughout the year. Yes.
yeah.
What a ringing endorsement.
And talking about the
Nothing has
season
changed.
pass, of course, as you already know, those of you who took part in the PTS, you're already accustomed with all the new gear. But not only the gear going to be a part of the new season pass. Yeah, we can see the Shocker Punch. It's a new exotic holster. There are also going to be 9 new weapon skins.
Yep.
We'll show a few of them a bit later. 10 new gear dies.
Year 5,
3 new
nothing has
emotes.
changed.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
really
bringing
excited for
emotes
that.
back. So that's we got our hands on some people that can actually do all the animation tech that's needed to do that, and that's super exciting that we get some new emotes back on the season pass.
Yeah, also 3 new arm patches.
Yep.
And special year 5 season 1 vanity outfit.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
There's of course we're introducing the normal standard vanity outfit. You can see the Cavalier gear set on screen right now. But yeah, we have a standard vanity outfit that unlocks pretty early on in the season pass. And then something new that we're introducing with season 1 is another outfit to collect on the premium pass,
somebody
which
ordered some
we
coffee.
revealed a little time ago. I think it was on Division Day. That the Splinter Cell outfit will be a part
Thanks for
of,
ordering
the
coffee.
season
You're the
pass.
best.
So this is something that we would rather reward players with as an example instead of putting stuff on the manhunt completion.
I just want to say something really quickly. Not everybody's going to be like professional hosts. That's fine. I just expected a little bit more production in this. They're just talking about the game, and that's totally fine. I don't expect that level of hosting. That just killed me. Nothing has changed.
Season 1, Broken Wings.
Yeah, I think from the PTS feedback, it's a very sought after a weapon. People seem to like the fantasy of the Saint Elmo engine. And here are some of the weapon skins on the track as well.
Yeah, guys, order more coffee. That's what they
And
need.
just to mention quickly that season pass is of course optional. Here is just a glimpse of what is going to be available. There is 100 items you can get through progressing, and a new helmet available as the final level 100 reward. That's something I mentioned, sorry. But yeah, it's available in the game store for $9.99. It's completely optional. And yeah, it's also available through Ubisoft Plus to Ubisoft Plus subscribers. And yeah, here we see a few nice
Yeah, some of
skins.
the last
Yeah.
skins
I really
we
love
have.
that one.
And I think we're just going to ramp this part off with the Splinter Cell. Here it is. Outfit that will be also part of the premium pass.
This is the closest you're going to get to a Splinter Cell
All right, cool.
game.
But talking about vanity, there is one April event that's going to be a part of this season called Escalation.
Yes, Escalation Apparel event. So this one is inspired by Shade Tech and Black Tusk. So we, Palle's team and Palle especially had this fantasy of, all right, how would the Shade inspired part of a, the Black Tusk are very evolved and have a lot of tech at their disposal, and how would that be if it looked, from a Shade tech perspective? So that's kind of the fantasy behind this, and we have a few of the outfits you can see here. Again, there are some visual effects that are not super easy to show on a still image, so you'll have to wait to see those in game. But I think it's a really nice looking set of outfits that is a part of the escalation event.
Yeah, and here is a preview of some of them created by our content here at Massive. Hello, George. So just to mention that Apparel event is dropping very soon, this month to be precise. The final date will be revealed a bit later.
So it's later in June, yeah.
Yeah, and just a reminder for everyone that the Apparel caches can be earned from 3 sources. 1 free key will be granted to all the players. Another source is shade leveling, 1 key for every 4 shade levels, and direct purchase with premium credits. And if you're a season pass owner, you will be granted 3 extra keys. So yeah, don't miss a chance. We'll make an announcement soon.
Yep.
And I think it's a very neat looking Apparel event.
We hope you like it. We do at least.
Yeah, I know that a lot of players are fans of tactical looking gear, and I mean Johnson. It's one of the outfits created after one of the characters that we have on the key art, right?
It might be. I haven't spoken to Palle specifically about each of the sets, but yeah, I mean they are like semi-tactical. It's very techy, I would say. I'm pretty sure that a lot of players are gonna, if not finding the complete outfits, as we know that people like to mix and match and create their own look and style, and I'm pretty sure there are some pieces in here that will be used quite heavily moving forward.
And would go very well with a Splinter Cell outfit.
Also that, yes. I just love this hat to the right here.
Yeah, the hat is super nice. Okay, that's, I think we actually talked pretty much about everything concerning Year 5 Season 1 Broken Wings. And of course, apart from that, there were more updates and more things that we wanted to discuss and announce. So let's talk about some other updates that we have prepared for the live stream.
Wait, I don't know anything.
And Descent. Talking about, since we already started talking about the gear, I know that there were a few changes following the first PTS regarding the new gear, weapons, and talents. There were going to be more details about that in our patch notes. Not a lot has been changed since PTS Phase 2.
No, I would just, just to clarify and make sure that everybody understands again that, when we're running multiple phases of the PTS, it is to test different things and see how both players react, how the game reacts, how it fits in. And based on that data we get in, we are making, the decisions or final adjustments before we go live. And there's quite a few adjustments. I would call them adjustments. There's only one big change since PTS 2 in terms of gear and whatnot. And that is, we tested 2 different variations of the Cavalier gear set. And we have decided to go with the direction that it went for the first PTS. So it is preventing skill damage instead of just a flat damage. I think it's, it brings more specific fantasy to the set. And I think it's also, it became too tanky and we could see a lot of unwanted scenarios with how it was designed for PTS 2. So that's been adjusted quite heavily. But then, of course, there's small values here and there on a lot of different things. But yeah, that's the main thing I would say that has changed since PTS2.
Yeah.
I just don't understand because they've moved on to PTS. Why wouldn't you start showing some of the content from that you're adding? Why wouldn't you give us some samples? You basically just read through bullet points that we already knew from the trailer. I already knew all this about Season 1 for Year 5. Why not show some of the content?
Between the phases.
You showed cosmetics.
And that is something that we already outlined in the PTS patch notes, but for a wider audience, since not everyone can take part in the PTS or owns only console, I just want to make sure that these are the changes that we made following the first phase and a few user tests that we ran for Descent. So, for example, there were multiple feedback and people asking.
Yeah, I agree. Descent looks really cool. I wanted to see it, though.
Yeah, Nemesis has been adjusted again.
That's the focus of seasons, cosmetics and manhunts?
I think.
What do you mean? Aren't they adding new stuff in Season 1? Isn't that when that Descent mode comes?
The big concern about difficulty. And we're looking at the game mode in the sense that we want people and players to be able to at least get to the Nemesis fight. They might struggle or not on the actual Nemesis fight, which is fine. If you continue after the Nemesis, that's a different type of player, I would say, and something that we let you decide as a player if you want to push for, leaderboard and whatnot. And that progression after the Nemesis, we have adjusted since PTS2 as well, actually with quite a lot of changes. I think I got like 2 pages of lines of adjustments to make sure that we get that sensation correct, that it becomes more and more impossible to progress, basically. But we also heard you in terms of rewards and how that's done. And that has also been given a big overhaul. So there is, of course, the XP that you gain from, finishing the game mode. But I can also, is it too early to reveal, the big part of the rewards for completing it? The named blueprints will be in the Descent reward pool, meaning that you will be able to grind out blueprints for named items in the game.
From the previous seasons.
From previous seasons, yes. So that is, and it's, since it's in a loop pool, you will have to play it multiple times to get, the one that you want. But it is a brand new item in the game that will be featured in one of the caches, and we will have it all in the patch notes later.
I think the Descent mode looks cool. I kind of want to see it.
Constructed cache?
Yes.
I don't want to just see bullet points about XP.
Otherwise unobtainable and unavailable to new players. That is your cue to go and play Descent once it drops tomorrow. So super soon. And yeah, talking about the XP earns and rewards, that's, I think, one of the major parts of the changes, that we made to the mode, because a lot of people were confused as to, will it be rewarding? In what way? Why should I play Descent at all if I'm not interested in the story? But consider this, with the XP earned for completing Descent runs, XP awarded to players who have not reached level 40 would go towards your main game progression. And same if you're already a level 40 player and move on to Shade Level Watch progression path, that's the XP that's going to go there. And of course, it would also help with the seasonal XP. If you're a season pass owner, that would also add to the seasonal reward track. Absolutely.
Anything XP is, progressing your season pass.
No,
So
I know
just
it drops
not a separate
tomorrow. I want to
activity,
see it.
completely, detached
That's
from
all.
the rest.
I just want to see
No,
it.
but
of
it's
the
also, it's extremely important that we find something that is, different from other game modes. And I think now we have the summit that, has legendary difficulty. and a unique drop with the bighorn. We have the countdown game mode that is like the loot pinata, I would say. And now we have the descent game mode, which is to grind those specific caches and name the blueprints as part of that experience for sure. On top of leaderboards and just having fun in a 4-man group. Yeah.
Yeah, and since your XP gains would go toward whatever you are doing in the main game at the moment, that's, a perfect opportunity for both veteran and new players to...
Yeah, and we will revisit later in year 5 we're keeping an eye on the descent game mode and, other game modes that we have to see if we should, potentially add more things to be featured in those.
Yeah, and just a quick reminder, if you don't know what the descent game mode is, it's 1 to 4 new game mode available for everyone. You don't need to be a Warlords of New York owner. You can just play it straight away. It doesn't matter what level do you have. And yeah, it can be played solo and can be played with a group of friends. And I think it's even more exciting when you play it with someone else. But then again, we also adjusted the difference between the single and co-op experience. So it should be much more smooth now.
Yeah, better aligned between. It was a lot easier in solo play previously. So we needed to balance that out a bit more. So yeah.
And also this mod, it's a perfect opportunity for you to discover different types of weapons, talents, and skills, and try to play with the builds that otherwise you would not even think about, because the randomized selection of different weapons and skills and talents, that's something that gives you endless opportunities to try and combine things that are otherwise you probably would not think about in the main game.
Yeah, and then the final little reward is for each 10 levels that you beat in the game mode, you will be rewarded with a unique arm patch to show off that you've done so in the season. So they will be season themed, these arm patches. So of course the first tier is for 10 levels, and then 20 levels, 30 levels, and then we stop at 40 levels. So for those who continue after 40 levels, that'll be on you to just see how far you can go. But at least we heard the feedback, that people were concerned if it was, based only on the leaderboard placement. Yeah, so we will reward everybody who achieves these levels with the unique arm patches for Descent.
Yeah, and I wonder how many hours are going to be after the release for people to reach level 100. Because I think after the first PTS, it was like, 18 hours?
Yeah, I hope we have adjusted it so it's damn near impossible to actually get there. But, you keep surprising, so I don't know, maybe.
I mean,
we'll
knowing our players, I'm 100% sure that we're going to see people competing for the top of the leaderboard
yeah.
or the fastest reach to level 100. And yeah, there are a few new screenshots from the mode that we prepared specifically for the live stream. But then again, I would be very much interested to hear the feedback from those of you in the community who had no chance to play during the PTS phases. Because yeah, we if there are anything that, whatever feedback you have, keep it coming, and we'll definitely
all
take
our console
into
players, right?
Consideration, yeah.
So it's going to be extremely exciting to see all of you engage with the game mode. It is only a small percentage of our player base that actually do download the PTS and play that. So suddenly having hundreds of thousands of players, actually millions of players to enjoy the game mode is a very different experience and size in terms of data. So it's going to be super exciting.
Yeah, and while the PTS feedback is super important for us to fine-tune things, it doesn't equal the final decision. Of course, if there are more feedback, it will be taken into account. And yeah, if there are some changes needs to be made, we're here for that. So yeah, please let us know what you're gonna think about Descent. I think it's super exciting game mode,
Cool.
especially since you can meet Aaron Keener, but I would not fanboy over him again. Okay, but there are some quality of life updates. I think that also important for us to talk about. And yeah, for example,
Yeah, let's bring them up on screen. If you can, Dory. Here we are. Yes. So first off, the grand step. I mean, we've been struggling with our grants. That's no secret. And we've designed a new way to grant any kind of compensation. So from tomorrow, the compensations will be in the store. There will be a new tab in the store called Grants. And in there, you will find the newly skinned Dr. Home that will be available to all players from tomorrow. And you can claim that once per account. And hopefully we are done with all the issues that has been for a very few percentages of our players, but we can't live with a few percentages that are not getting the grants as they were supposed to. So that has been designed from the ground up, and we're super happy that we can finally give this long overdue grant to you guys.
Yeah, and there were a few others. I mean, that's of course not all of them. The full list will be available for you later tonight after the live stream through the patch notes. Pretty much all of them were part of the PTS Phase 2. So not much has been changed since then, but there were a lot of talks about the XP revamp. And to provide you with the answer, we prepared a special asset showcasing the values of the
yeah. On the XP revamp, so we heard the feedback, and we have buffed it across the board since PTS2. So of course the double XP is removed, and then instead, if we're looking across at the numbers from previous and to tomorrow, we are across the board basically increasing all XP gains by 12%. So some of these activities in the open world will be massively buffed. I mean, they will be more than double XP than what they are today. And all those details will be in the patch notes later today. So I think it's something we're going to be tracking, and hopefully it'll feel rewarding. Basically the idea is that instead of resetting the map, playing the UI, as I tend to call it, by resetting the map, finding that certain activity you want to play, fast travel, run to it, do it, and then repeat. The idea is that all activities grant the same kind of XP per hour. By the way, it's including NPC kills. And so, you will just play whatever is nearest. So I think players also need to factor that in, that the time that you spend, resetting, traveling, running is basically gone. So you just run to the next one if you really want to do fast XP gains in open world. There's many other things you can do for XP, but just to make clear that we hope that it feels more satisfying and that you can actually enjoy a variety of events instead of just chasing those convoys. So that's the idea behind all of this. And then we'll see where we end up. But I feel and hope that we are in a good spot with what comes with tomorrow's update.
Yeah, and we want to be absolutely transparent about that feature. That's why we decided to give you the exact values with the percentages of the increase and decrease. But I'm going to mention this, that the overall increase is about 12%. 12%, yeah, across all the activities.
Yeah. So if you add them all up and write it out, it'll be around there, yes.
Yeah. So even if you see the decreased values, the overall is still an increase.
Yeah.
So yeah, we hope that you're going to be happy with those changes that we made. And yeah, there are a few other updates that we have that are not really quality of life updates, but rather something.
I think they're doing a perfectly good job if you're doing like a monthly update, right? If you're doing a monthly update and you're reading through changes and stuff, I think they're doing a perfectly fine job. What they're doing is not easy, okay? Let me tell you. Like, this is not their primary job. This is not their primary skill set. They're doing a perfectly good job if this was like a monthly update. This was, to me, my impression was year 5, season 1. All right, we're kicking things off here. What you got? It just isn't landing in the way that I expected it to because it's the beginning of year 5. If this was like, hey, here's what's coming in season 2, I would expect it to be a little bit more in this vein. I just wasn't expecting this.
Do so. And it's just it's a very small adjustment, I know, but it takes time for our people to actually set it up and make it happen. But I think those small, quality of life improvements are just, we appreciate them. And I also think that for all the raid players, having the extra challenge of adding directives to the raids, it's going to be a good fun for them, for sure.
I mean, even marking apparel items as your favorite, it's a very nice improvement, because then you don't need to scroll through everything.
Hundreds of, true.
Yeah, and quick grenade selection, I know that was a very popular one once we announced it for the BTS Phase 2, because that's actually something that was not available in any way before.
And we list in the patch notes how you bring that up on screen.
Yeah, there are going to be details both for console and PC players on where you can find it in the menu and what you should press on your keyboard or gamepad. And yeah, talking about other updates, I don't know, which one do you want to start with first?
Go. Go.
Okay, let's rip off the Band-Aid. Spec revamp.
Yeah, the spec revamp. So I think it has been kind of revealed in the past, and we have talked about it. But I think it's important that we address it here live with you guys. And it's something that we had to set aside, because what we wanted to do with the changes to endgame and how you play the game and engage with the game from season 4 of year 5, it really didn't fit in, and it we didn't really feel that it had the oomph that it was supposed to bring. So that was set aside, and a complete new set was designed to make changes throughout, both with season 4, but also throughout time. If there's going to be so many changes, but yes, unfortunately, that means that the article that was posted in, I think it was November 2021 or something, is inaccurate, because it's not going to hit servers. At least we don't intend to let that be part of what we're designing at the moment. We think it's much more exciting what we're doing, and we hope you think so too. Once we are ready to reveal that, that'll be later in year 5. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. Do you think it would be possible for us to maybe give a glimpse of those changes to ETF players at least?
Yeah, we will. For sure, we will bring the ETF into play as soon as we have something that we need feedback on. Yes, we've seen that with the sense that we should probably have brought them in earlier, and they bring a lot of valid feedback. So that is also something that we will be doing with this, because it's quite dramatic what we are, the plans. So we need to make sure that we get it right.
Yeah, thank you so much for commenting on that. And I think a lot of people have been asking what's going to happen with the spec revamp, and here's your answer.
Yep.
And talking about some other important topics, reputation system, sanctioning, easy anti-cheat, and what our stance currently on all those happenings.
Yeah, I hope it's becoming more clear that we've started doing a lot on this topic. So cheaters, we dislike cheaters just as much as you do, and we want them gone. and that is any kind of cheater. And we have started banning a lot of them, and we have updated a lot of our tools. We're working on some really advanced stuff behind the scenes, so that we, in the next, I would say, hopefully 4 to 6 months, have even better systems that we have today. But at least now we have some people that know how to work with it, and that's why we started seeing ban waves happening, and they will continue to happen. And the same thing goes for exploiters. And no, you don't have to be afraid of playing the game and be tagged or marked as an exploiter. These people, they know that they're doing is what they're doing is wrong. We're talking many times the XP of what a normal player can accumulate, we have tracking tools in place now, and we also have some automated systems that goes live with the update tomorrow.
Yeah, and I can't really go into all the details about the sanctioning metrics. Of course, there is one that we are, working in reference with, but I'm just going to remind you about this one thing. Unfortunately, neither me nor Morten can ban people directly. No. We do not have any access to this specific tool. So if you think that a person you encountered in the game or online while watching, I don't know, Twitch streams or whatnot, and you see that they are an exploiter or a cheater, there is only one way for you to report them, is through Ubisoft support. And if you can include video evidence or anything that clearly shows that this person is spoiling the experience for everyone else, please do so. But yeah, unfortunately, it's not up to us, the dev team, to ban these people. So just a reminder, please submit your request for Ubisoft support, and I'm sure that we will be able to help you very soon. And talking about the sanction metrics, actually, that's another one very important thing, that if a person, let's say an accidental cheater, right, or they encountered a mechanic that they didn't know is considered cheating, they won't be banned right away. They would be sanctioned for quite some time. But if the exact same person, I don't know, would become a reoffender, so doing that on purpose, knowing that it's not something that they're supposed to do, that it goes against the rules in the code of conduct, that's where this person will be labeled as a cheater and as exploiter in the system and banned from it.
Yeah. So cheaters, people that use third-party software to cheat in our game, will be banned from first offense. Period. There's no room for them. The exploiters, we have to tell them that what they're doing is wrong, and they will, of course, be having a second chance at behaving like they should. But yeah, that's it's we just want to make sure that you understand that we take it very seriously, and we are working on some stuff that should hopefully be very positive for the game in the very near future. And as stated, we have already started ban waves. So yes, that is correct. It's happening, and it will continue to happen. So
no one will be spared, so behave.
No, we just want to make a fair and fun playground for all of you guys that play the game legit. And there's nothing more frustrating than to meet these people that just ruin your experience. So it's for all of you good guys out there. So hopefully that can bring a little smile to your day.
Another thing that I think would bring a smile to a lot of our faces is the countdown matchmaking update.
Yeah, so there's a small patch on the countdown. We know that it's broken, and it's frustrating that you have to queue up several times to find a match that is working. And we know we have a fix for the matchmaking. So apparently, what has been going on is that the exact time that it loads in, one of the players is kicked or leaves or gets like a desync, then it breaks the countdown session. So that fix is coming with tomorrow, and then we'll of course keep a close eye on everything countdown to see if there are any other issues that could potentially be part of breaking the experience. But hopefully we can all start the loot grind in countdown on a more regular and fun basis from tomorrow on. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this person from the meme with the pancakes, because descent, countdown, new manhunt. There are too many things to do.
There's plenty of time, right?
Yeah. One last thing, the blueprints of the previous seasons.
Yeah. So we know that there are blueprints missing from 4 seasons. Season 9, 10, 11, and Season 3. So they will be, in Season 1, they will be added to the loot pool of control point level 4s. So people who didn't acquire the blueprints during those seasons can go and grind them in the control points. Season 3 is a bit delayed. We will have to get back to you when those will be added. But Season 9, 10, 11 will be with in the game during June. They will be added. We'll add it to the patch notes as soon as we have them ready. But it's on the to-do to get them in. We'll have a tracker to see. It might be 18.1 that they're added, but it is definitely something we need to get in, and hopefully all of you guys can then start having an extra reward for completing level 4 control points.
Yeah, once there is more information, we'll just update the known issues board to give you the details, and stay tuned for one of those Hell's Patches updates, because it's definitely going to be a part of the patch notes.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for all those very exciting, some maybe not very exciting, but at least that's transparency for you. We are not trying to keep any information undisclosed. But to finish off on a super positive note, I think that would be nice to talk about year 5 again in general, and provide you guys with the recap of what year 5 is supposed to be. Not really a recap, a roadmap more like. And we've noticed that since the announcement we made on the Division Day regarding the Season 4 and the potential DLC, not the potential, it's already set in stone, people started speculating like crazy what the DLC is going to be about, where it's going to be located.
Yeah. And I think, I guess we thought it would be obvious from the roadmap. Yeah, we see the roadmap. But yeah, let's just confirm that the DLC will be set in Brooklyn, New York. So that's out of the way. All the speculations can stop. We saw some very creative suggestions and videos and whatnot. So, but yeah, that's the location that we're going in at the end of the year. So we're super excited for that when that happens. But before that, we have 3 other seasons, and also just want to make sure that everybody understands the roadmap very clear, and what is the takeaway of each of the seasons. So of course, with Broken Wings, we have the Descent game mode, and we have the castle rebuild. That is a real rebuild, or at least the people that are coming back are having an impact on what you can gain access to at the castle. The same is happening in Season 2, Puppeteers. So that is when we conclude the castle rebuild. And just also to make sure that if people didn't play Season 1 and joined at Season 2, the complete Season 1 will, of course, already be active at the castle. That's just how game development works. The takeaway of Season 2 is, of course, the incursion. So we see the Burning Mansion on the roadmap. It's the Maraid estate. The cleaners have paid them a visit, and it's your job to go rescue the people of the estate, and we'll have some really nice, exotic and very hot gameplay moments in this location and the incursion. I really look extremely much forward to this piece of content. And then for season 3, so it's a slower season in terms of pieces of content and whatnot. Story-wise, I think this is probably the big story piece of the year, and we're not going to talk more about that. And then we are trying to bring some more engaging holiday fun. And we'll get back to you, of course, with what that entails and how you can be part of that. But it should be more gameplay rewarding than what it has been previously. So just some small stuff happening on that front. And that is, of course, in order to prepare the team for the big drop at the end of the year with season 4, where we both have the story DLC and what we call season 2, the changes to how you play the game, in-game wise and whatnot. So, yeah, that's just a very short recap of the roadmap that was shared during Division Day, and with the reveal of the Brooklyn location for the story DLC.
Looks super exciting. I'm head over heels for the incursion. It's an amazing experience. I've been an avid fan of incursions from the Division 1, and if you haven't played it, if you're only a Division 2 player, I would say that this specific incursion, I don't know if I'm allowed to even say that. Please please stop me if I mention something I'm not supposed to. But the only difference between Division 1 and Division 2 incursions would be that Division 2 incursion feels more like a raid.
And then I think we'll keep the rest for season 2 live stream. But that's true.
I'm just already anticipating the questions about us developing another raid. So you're gonna have this instead.
This is it.
That is super exciting. Believe me. But I think that's it. We covered pretty much everything. There were a few questions from the chat that we've been collecting during the live stream. So let's look at what we have. So first question is about the new skin for the Doctor Home, and the person asking, will the original skin from the previous release stay, or will a Doctor Home be reskinned completely?
So currently we do not have a way to skin an exotic weapon. So it'll be a new skin for the current weapons that everybody has. We are exploring, if we, sometime in the future should have skins on exotics. We've seen a lot of you people ask for this. It's still being debated if that's something that is to happen or not. But it's going to have a new look by tomorrow. But we'll keep it a surprise how it looks.
It looks good, believe me. See, I already see a few questions about the new raid. We already answered that. There are a few questions about season 1. Is the castle going to be a new HQ instead of the base of operations?
Play the season. But, there's going to be, of course, a lot of things happening at the castle. It's not, we're not taking away the White House. It's still going to be there. It's part of Washington, D.C. So it's a difficult one to answer. I think if it's in terms of will you have more to do at the castle, yes. That's probably the best or the closest I can get.
Yeah, I mean, that's an answer good enough, because it's very hard to say yes or no.
Yeah, it's not, your new boo, if that's the question. But yeah.
It's just an addition to an already existing experience. There are a few questions about the Descent. Is the Descent coming tomorrow? Yes, it's a part of the Year 5 Season 1 Broken Wings, so it will become available to all of you tomorrow. And once again, you don't need the Warlords of New York expansion to be able to play Descent. It also doesn't matter if you want to play solo or in a group, and regardless of the level that you have, if you're below 30, if you're 40 and move to the shape progression, you're going to be rewarded depending on what your current main game character status is.
Correct.
And also important thing to mention, all the rewards from Descent going to be available on your main character.
Oh, so yeah, the loot that you get out.
Yeah.
Yes. So once you exit the simulation and get back to the White House, you will have caches in your inventory that you can open, and that is normal loot that you can, or materials that you can use in your normal play elsewhere in the game.
Will you add checkpoints to Descent?
Yeah, we've seen that come up a lot, but we can't. It's just against the nature of the mode. So we are aware of and know that there's been, for example, if you had your internet connection died, or your PC crashed, or I don't know, something. Then we are making sure that at least the XP is added to your account. That is the best that we can do. But it's kind of against the mode to have a save. So it's, it was something that we investigated early on, and it's just not really doable in the sense of how it's structured, basically.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And talking about XP, by the way, I just want to mention one quality of life, that conflict is actually going to get an XP buff to shade progression. It has its own XP inside conflict that awards you caches and whatnot, but we are, transferring a mathematically system into, your shade progression, so you actually can feel rewarded. So please also do give us feedback on that once it goes live tomorrow, so we can make sure that it's adjusted correctly. We hope that at least it feels much better than what it is today. So that should be good.
And one last question about Descent: is there any plans to add more unique or exclusive talents to the mode?
Not currently, but again, we want to revisit Descent at a later date. But right now the team is all hands on the DLC and the endgame changes. So we'll see. But it's a good suggestion, and it's something that we've also been discussing. How much should we do about it in potential new years of content. Yeah.
Don't see any more questions about Descent. Okay, let's move to Incursion. Would it be possible to play Incursion solo? You can try.
No.
But
just no. It's very, very tough. It's just, yeah. But we'll show you when we get there. Let's get through season 1 and all the good stuff in here, which can be played solo. And then we'll take that at the other side of the summer.
So, any chance to get a new global event? From what I know, there are no such plans, at least for now.
No, and again, it's tied into the changes that we want to bring by the end of year 5. So it wouldn't really make sense to invest the time in making new global events now. But yeah, more on that later in year 5.
And yeah, talking about roadmap, of course, there were a few questions about season 2.0, but as we mentioned, we cannot really discuss it right now.
No.
Since we have 3 more seasons before it's even
Yeah.
a reality. But once there is more information to share to give you a glimpse into how this new system gonna work and look like, we absolutely gonna share it. And let's wait a little bit. Will there be a New York DZ? I
A
assume
Dark Zone?
that's a question for the DLC, probably.
Yeah, no.
Will there-
I can't talk about that, a distant future, what's going to happen. But, right now we're focused on the roadmap that we presented to you guys. And then we'll see, what comes after that, if any. It's so far into the future right now. So I think, as you just said, let's take one season at a time and then get back to you guys.
Oh, there is another question.
All right, I'm going to call it. We got to go to this other show. I would not have covered that if that's what I knew it was going to be. I thought they were kicking off the year and the season, and they were going to have, more to say in show. It felt like we were just reading through stuff I already knew about. I already covered that. I already covered Year 5 and talked about if it was a good time to come back. I felt like this was just bullet point reading. Sorry, I like absolutely no shade to the hosts. That's a perfectly fine show if you're just sort of updating us on a season. But I'm like, Year 5, kicking off, Season 1, what do you got? You're literally doing it the day before Summer Game Fest starts. I'm thinking, okay, this could be pretty good. You're literally starting your brand new year, your brand new season, the day that Summer Game Fest starts. So I don't understand why that was their approach to production. No gameplay. You guys in chat are like, oh, people have been playing that gameplay in PTS. Yeah, well, anybody that's not super plugged in doesn't know that. Like, it's fine. It's fine. We'll go to Guerrilla Collective. This will be the first morning show stream where we didn't hit the goal because we just watched that. So let's try to hit it in the second show. DK Beggar's like, no. He gifts a member and takes us to 13. He's like, we can do it. We can do it. Man, that was not what I was hoping for. I really was excited after yesterday. I was like, man, they've got a lot of good systems in here. They got a lot of good potential. Year 5 could be a pretty big moment, and they don't seem to think so. They don't seem to be promoting it all that strongly. I don't know. Maybe they'll do more at UB Forward. But again, I think their entire approach to this just seems strange. Launching it during Summer Game Fest when nobody will be paying attention to you. I don't know. I'm going to put a link in chat. We're going to head over and do the Guerrilla Collective. These are fun because these are like indie games. There's usually a lot of really, really good indie games on the horizon. Last year we saw a bunch of great stuff. That coffee alert that happened during the show must have been left over from yesterday because there was not a new coffee order. So, all right, let's. I'm going to put a link in chat. Now, do me a favor, guys. We're going to a new stream, so make sure you smash the like button as soon as we get over there. We haven't done stream-to-stream handoff in a while, so help me out. YouTube is acting a little squirrely today, so if you're having issues, I am sorry about that. Let me put the announcement in the Discord as well. Okay. Thanks so much for checking out the video. This will be a co-stream of the Guerrilla Collective. Sort of a soft start to Summer Game Fest. We will be covering all the Summer Game Fest festivities as well, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel with the bell button pressed. You're going to want to skip ahead by about 30 minutes if you're watching the past broadcast. It will be an indie showcase. Lots of great indie games on the horizon. Last year, some of the big takeaways, some of the big show stealers during, Future Game Show and other showcases were indie games. And we're hoping to see some good ones today. Make sure you hit subscribe and the bell button. That way you don't miss my content. I'm going to end the previous stream. We did watch the Division stream about Year 5, Season 1. We were obviously hoping for a little bit of a stronger